Hi, sorry we ran into a bit of trouble with technology again, trying to connect YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. I'm not that good at technology. So this morning we filmed 8 new videos, or not new, they're revised. I tried to make them clearer and simpler and shorter, so I hope when they go up they'll be more helpful. My hope is to have the most helpful 100 under-a-minute videos online. There's no faster, easier, better way to learn about matters in mental health and addiction than with a 1-minute video. But because you can only deal with one issue in a 1-minute video, you need 100 of them to deal with all the mental health and addiction issues. So if you've got 100, which ones do you watch? Can't look at them all, and don't need to, because some people have got these problems and some people have got those problems. So how do you know which ones to watch? Well, go to the Mental Fix It app on your phone, tap App Store or Google Play, and in 10 seconds download the free Mental Fix It app and tap your choice of answers for each question. That did take 10 minutes, but we decided that people seem to want it to be shorter, so we have reduced the number of questions, and now you can tap answers to your questions in 5 minutes. And any questions that you tap no twice, which means that they're not a problem for you, you only get asked that question again every 4th time. And we're working on some refinements of that, so that people can find their helpful videos very quickly. So I'm going to film more videos in a couple of days' time, which are revisions, shorter, clearer, better. One will be quickly cut post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a very nasty form of anxiety where you feel very anxious, you get nauseated and perhaps sweat, maybe even faint, and it's fairly easily triggered. It's the result of having experienced or witnessed a very serious incident, a life-threatening incident, which shakes up your brain and nerve electricity flows and your brain and body chemistry flows, and makes them very susceptible to being re-triggered. So how do you stop that? It's a sort of habit. A habit is anything that's happened so often that it's become very strong, very easily triggered, very hard to stop. And the most effective way that we've found for stopping it is with Calm Fast powder medicine in a pocket dispenser like this. You have it in your pocket all the time, and at the first sign of PTSD you whiz it out, you drop the powder on your tongue, 1 dose of the powder per 20 kilograms or 44 pounds of your weight, and you don't swallow it, you leave it on your tongue and suck it. And when you suck powder medicine on your tongue, it goes straight into the blood supply in your tongue. Your tongue is pink or red because the blood vessels are so close to the surface. So if you drop thousands of tiny particles of powder medicine on your tongue, they get into those very superficial blood vessels quite quickly, and you start to feel better within 5 minutes. And then we make the powder taste very nice, and soon your body connects the very nice taste with starting to feel better in 5 minutes. And that gets stronger and stronger, and it's called taste conditioning. And then you get the relief starting in seconds as soon as the powder reaches the taste buds at the back of your tongue. So you drop the powder on your tongue, it gets to the taste buds in a few seconds, and you get a placebo effect even before the powder has been absorbed. And the way you break habits is that you weaken them by delaying them and reducing them with very fast powder medicine on your tongue. And you do that every time you have the problem, and it gradually weakens the electrical and chemical flows that cause the habit. Now this may take some time with something as severe as post-traumatic stress disorder, but it will definitely work. Just get the Calm Fast powder, carry it in your pocket everywhere, whiz it out and take it at the first sign that you're going to have an attack. We can tell you who can supply you with that if you just email us at healthestuff@gmail.com, healthestuff@gmail.com. Another video will be on cutting what I call PTEF, post-trauma evil focus. When something very bad happens to people that they can't cope with, what they often do is they start to think about something else far away that takes their attention away from their very great personal problem. They think about the CIA, they think about Guantanamo Bay, they think about conspiracy theories, the terrible things they do to women and children in some faraway place. It's not a very successful strategy because your big problem still remains, and you find you get more and more friends who are doing the same thing, and you're all miserable together. So a far better strategy is to, on your phone, tap the App Store or Google Play icon, download the Mental Fix It app, do the app check, and the instant report tells you all the things that you think are a problem, and find a smaller problem that you feel you can face and fix. don't face the big one for the time being, but find a smaller problem. Nobody ever has only one big problem. Everybody may be focused on that one big problem, but there are other problems as well. Might be lack of friends, or lack of pleasure, or lack of hobbies, lack of recreations, money worries, whatever. So focus on a smaller fixable problem, and the Mental Fix It app will tell you which 6 of our under a minute videos will help your problems most. But you don't want to focus on the big problem, where it gives you a list of all your problems. It'll have it'll show you how to tap on 4 videos that will help you most with the particular problem you're interested in fixing. So fix it. And when you fix a smaller problem, you feel a bit stronger, you feel a bit happier, you're a bit better problem solver. And then you find another smaller fixable problem and do the same. Tap the report where it tells you the 4 under a minute videos that will help you with that particular problem. Watch the videos, deal with that problem and get it fixed. And once again, you'll feel a bit happier, a bit stronger, and you'll be a bit better problem solver. And just keeping on working through your problems until you've got less and less of the smaller problems, and you're feeling quite a lot stronger and quite a lot happier, more confident, more hopeful, and you've become pretty good at fixing problems, and then you'll be able to face the big one. And it's very important to become a good sleeper. If you don't sleep well, all your other problems get worse. So how do you learn to sleep well? Well, same story. On your phone, tap the App Store or the Google Play icon, download the Mental Fix It app, tap your choice of answers or scores for each of its questions, and you get an instant report. In 5 minutes you'll have an instant report that tells you which 6 videos are going to help you most with your problems. It's going to tell you which medicines are likely to help you most, which you can research and talk to your doctor about because you'll need a prescription. And it lists all your problems with the 4 videos for each of those problems that will help you most. And it has a graph which shows your total scores, whether you're getting better, which tells you whether the treatment you're having is working. If you're having the right treatment, your total score graph will be going down, because some things which were severe will be becoming moderate, some things that were moderate will be becoming minor or getting better, and so your graph will be going down. If the total score graph is horizontal, it's not going down, then you have to seriously review your treatment. So it's very important to become a good sleeper, because there are different causes of poor sleep. You'll have to find out from videos how to deal with your particular kind of sleep problem. The commonest is anxiety, and sadly nearly all anxiety and sleep medicines are addictive. And I usually recommend people take mirtazapine, which is an antidepressant, but it has a wonderful calming effect. And that helps you to sleep very well. And you want to turn it into a habit. So don't go easy on the sleeping tablets. Take the mirtazapine or whatever you decide to take every night until and sleep every night until it's a habit. Everything that we do over and over and over again for long enough will become a habit, including sleep. There'll be a video on schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is one of the really big, really nasty things that can happen to people. The really big, nasty things that can happen to people are childhood sexual abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder, PDF, post-traumatic evil focus disorder, schizophrenia, and you deal with that. Well, unfortunately, people, both you and your family and your doctor, probably get so focused on the schizophrenia that you neglect other things. And you certainly take the antipsychotic medicine for the schizophrenia, but you may get better more from focusing on the small problems. What are the small problems? Well, they're not small problems really, but make sure you've got friends. Make sure you've got at least 1 or 2 or 3 friends, even if they've got schizophrenia too. You need other people, friends. Make sure you've got hobbies. You've got things that you love doing. Doesn't matter what it is, sport or gardening or reading or music or whatever, but have things that you love doing and have places that you love going to. And if you've got friends, hobbies, and places you love going to, the schizophrenia won't be as bad. What about the terrible problem of childhood sexual abuse? One of the worst things about it is that the abuser, the predator, has usually done it with lots and lots of other kids. I read in one report that on average pedophiles molested 186 children in their lifetime. So they get very skilled at manipulating you, and they know that they're in danger. Any day they could suddenly be on the TV, on the front page of newspapers, pedophiles and in prison. So they get very good at stopping their victims from telling anyone. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to tell someone. They'll try to make you feel guilty as if it's your fault. So you're ashamed to admit to anyone that it's happened, but it's not your fault, it's their fault, and they're just very manipulative, and you've got to tell someone. Just tell anyone. Get it off your chest. Once you've told anyone, then you can, it'll be easier to tell other people, and you can find the right people to tell. Might be your parents, it might be the police, it might be a teacher, it might be a counsellor, but tell someone, share it, and then everything will start to get better. Another video will be on find, understand, then get lifelong emotional problems fixed. find, understand, and get lifelong emotional problems fixed. You know, our feelings are habits too. If you feel something over and over and over again, it will become a habit. And the most important things in our life are our emotional or feeling habits. And that starts in our first year of life. And that depends how much of your life as a baby did you spend crying, and how much of your life did you spend smiling. So important. If you're a parent, just try to make sure that your baby spends as much of their life as possible smiling, and that will becoming a habit. That we lay the foundations of the two most important things in our life, which are our emotional feeling habits and our relationship habits in that first year of life. How much, when we were first born, we breathed, we sucked, we pooed, and our heart beat, but if we needed something, all we could do was cry. And when we cried, someone fixed it, what we needed. If they didn't, we died. So if you're alive today, someone fixed it. But how quickly and how well did they fix it? Some babies have mothers who are very inexperienced, who've never had a baby before, have no contact with the baby. When the baby cries, they're not really quite sure what they want or what they need. So there can be a bit of suffering there until the mother gets experienced. Some mothers are just far too busy. It doesn't happen much now, but 60 years ago, 60 years ago, when I was first a family doctor, I can still picture one mother who was at her wit's end because she had a baby every year for 4 years. And she had four little people crying and needing attention all at once. Her husband was a good man and supportive, but he had to go to work. So, and some mothers don't have support and they have to go to work as well as minding the baby. So they work in the day and they're minding the baby at night. Pretty tricky. So some mothers are just too busy. And some mothers, sadly, are unsupported. Mother supports the baby and the mother needs support. They need their husband or the support, their father of the child's support, and they need their mother's support, the grandmother. Grandmothers are so important. And sometimes older siblings and aunties and cousins and so on. Both of my grandfathers had 11 brothers and sisters, and on my father's side there were 8 boys and 4 girls, and the oldest was a girl, and when she was 20 the last one was born. So you can imagine how much child care she did, probably starting when she was 6 or 7. One of the most famous baseball players in America, the first really big black baseball player, was one of a very big family. I've just forgotten how many, but when his older sister was 6, she used to take him to kindergarten, and keep her eye on him while she was in the kindergarten. So big sisters can be a great help, but too many children, not a good idea. So mothers need support. Fathers and their mothers and everybody should support the mother. And sadly, some mothers get sick. Some mothers have physical sickness, but also, sadly, some suffer from depression. And depression prevents them from caring for their baby as they should, as the baby needs, and that can be a big problem. And children can react in different ways. I can still picture, and this is probably 50 or 60 years ago, a woman who had a very bad heart. In those days, rheumatic fever was common. You hardly ever hear of it now, but rheumatic fever was common, and it often caused rheumatic heart disease. It gummed up the heart valve, so the heart valve didn't work properly, didn't open properly and didn't shut properly. And this poor lady had a bad rheumatic heart, and she couldn't do very much physically, and she had a little boy and a little girl. Well, I got that wrong. She had a little girl and then she had a little boy. And the girl was about 6 and the boy was about 4. And they were both disturbed by the fact that their mother couldn't look after them properly. And the girl became a rebel. She was like a little spitfire. And the boy became a conch. He was so conscientious and nice. Yeah, sad, but yeah, particularly if a mother is sick, they need a lot of support. And that not only affects the emotional habits that the baby develops, it affects their relationship habits. The newborn baby, all it can do is cry. But when the mother's tending to it, she often sings or hums or rocks the baby a bit, and she smiles at her baby. And when the baby's about a month or 2 old, suddenly when it sees the mother smile at them, they smile at the mother. And the mother loves that. And she gets all cooey and gooey, and the baby loves that. And that forms a very positive relationship habit. The baby loves their mother and their mother loves the baby, and that's the foundation of their attitude to other people. A month or 2 ago, in a local supermarket, I saw a lady with a baby strapped on the front of her chest like this. Now, I love babies, and so I went to the mum. I said, "Can I say hi to your baby?" And she was happy. So I just smiled at the baby, who was about 9 months old, and that baby, 9-month-old baby, gave me, I reckon, one of the nicest smiles I've had in my long life. Such a lovely smile. And I just knew that that baby had a good relationship with its mother, and a smiling relationship with its mother, and that made it have smiling relationship with strangers like me. So yeah, but if the mother's inexperienced, far too busy, unsupported, sick, then sometimes the baby has to cry too long to get its needs met. Might even have to cry itself to sleep and not get its needs met. And that can make the baby feel lonely, feel frightened, feel sad, get irritable and angry. You can tell when a baby is angry from their cry. And sadly, some babies have unhappy relationship habits laid down in their infancy. So find, understand and fix lifelong emotional problems. If you have got a lifelong emotional problem that's spoiling your life, don't put up with it. Fix it. Is it sadness? Is it worry, anxiety? Is it irritability, anger? Whatever it is, on your phone, tap the App Store or the Google Play icon, download the Mental Fix It app, do its check every day or every second day, and find out what your problems are and then deal with them. The app reports will tell you which under-a-minute videos to watch, and watch them over and over again till you really get them and you really get their message into you. And if it recommends medicine, get the medicine. Go to your the report will tell you which medicines are likely to help, but of course, and that enables you to research that medicine online and learn a bit about it, but you'll have to go to your doctor and get a prescription. And the best medicine, which we hope to make available worldwide, bit ambitious I know, but which you may not be able to get, is powder medicine in a pocket dispenser that you carry in your pocket all the time, and every time you have that unhappy feeling, you whiz it out, drop the powder medicine on your tongue, don't swallow it, suck it, and within 5 minutes you'll start to feel better. It might be medicine for anxiety, it might be medicine for irritability and anger, whatever the medicine is, that's part of breaking the unhappy emotional habit. Yep. So you have to find what it is by doing the Mental Fix It app, and then watching the videos and taking the medicine and doing whatever else the videos recommend, and you can break habits of any sort, including unhappy emotional habits. And always try to find the causes. Unfortunately, a lot of care of unhappiness problems is to just deal with the feeling, which of course is important, but you should also find the causes. Now, you won't always be able to find the causes, and most problems have multiple causes. It's not just one thing that happened. One thing happened, unless it was very bad, you can probably cope with it, but 2 or 3 things made you angry, made you lonely, made you anxious, whatever. And what I found with people was that understanding the causes, but of course, if it started in your infancy, you won't remember, because we don't remember anything before we have about our 2nd birthday is when we start to remember things. Before that, we don't remember things. And a lot of people's bad feelings are to do with people who neglected them or hurt them. But what you'll find is that nearly always, if someone neglected you or hurt you or did the wrong thing by you, that was because someone neglected them, hurt them, did the wrong thing by them. And if you can understand why the person did the wrong thing by you and upset you, you can come to terms with it. You may not be able to completely forgive them, but you'll understand. So don't stew over the past, but every now and then, for just 20 or 30 minutes, think about it. Think about your family when you were a child, your parents, your brothers and sisters, the house, the neighbours, the school, whatever, and just try to come to terms with it for 20 or 30 minutes, then forget it and come back a week later and just do it again, and just gradually understand everything and come to terms with it and fix it. Of course, the electrical and chemical messages and flows, everything that happens to us, everything that happens in us, everything we do is the result of electrical flows in our brain and our nerves, and chemical flows along a line of cells or in the blood, a hormone or a chemical of some sort. And you can correct those. Yeah, try to understand the reasons, come to terms with the reasons, but also do whatever else the 1-minute videos tell you, or get the rapid acting medicine, because if you stop a nasty feeling as soon as it happens, within 5 minutes, with a powder medicine, tablets and capsules take half an hour to an hour to start working and 1 or 2 hours to work, so that may not be quick enough. But really nice tasting powder medicines is best. The most important things in your life, the most important things to have a good life are mental health, good relationships, a strong immune system, a habit of smiling, and no addictions. Good mental health, good relationships, a strong immune system that fights diseases, a habit of smiling, and no addictions. If you have the first things, you won't have the addiction. If you and I treated 5,000 addicts in 40,000 consultations over a period of 5 years, and 19 out of 20 of them had serious mental disorders that had caused the addiction. People used to say, oh yeah, the addiction gives them mental health problems. Well, I can tell you that addictions make mental health problems worse and sometimes create new ones, but always, if you go back into the history, you'll find that the mental health problem was there before the addiction started, and because the person didn't get the treatment that they needed for their mental health, they got street treatment, and everything on the street's addictive, so they become an addict. So what is mental health and what is ill health? It's good to get a simple, clear understanding of that. The mental health is basically to have normal feelings, that's happy feelings, but also some unhappy feelings. If something bad happens, if something tragic happens, it's normal to feel sad. You must feel sad, and if you don't feel sad, that's going to screw you up. If something happens that shouldn't happen and you feel angry, you must feel angry. Suppressing anger is very damaging. That is, suppressing normal anger is very damaging. If you feel lonely, feel lonely. That's very important. If you suppress your loneliness and you don't do anything about finding friends and relationships, that's going to be damaging. So, normal feelings, normal thoughts, and mental ill health is abnormal feelings, abnormal thoughts. People who are just not sad when there's a reason to be sad, they're sad when there's no reason to be sad. People who are not just angry when there's a good reason to be angry, they're irritable and angry and sometimes violent all the time. So try to get very clear what's normal and what's abnormal. The abnormal things are usually overstimulation, anxiety, worry, fear, raciness, impatience, or their lowness, no energy, no interest, and the addictive drugs are like that. They're either uppers or downers. The downers are alcohol, a lot of medicines, tranquilizers and sleeping medicines, marijuana, heroin, calming addictive painkillers that calm down the over activity, or their uppers, crystal meth, ice, cocaine, ecstasy, MDMA, nicotine, that lift people who are low. Big subject. I just think that you should have a bit of an idea about mental health, ill health and good health. It's very important to get your happy, healthy chemistry flowing several times a day. I tell people they need the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps, that's people, relationships, happy friendships, purpose, things they do that give them a sense of significance of doing good and pleasure. Living for pleasure doesn't work, but living without pleasure doesn't work. And you need to understand the difference between happiness and pleasure. We've got about 25 chemicals in our brain that make us happy, or that I call our happy, healthy chemistry. There's over 20 endorphins. Endorphins, that word means endogenous morphines. Yes, internal morphines. We produce morphine-like chemicals, over 20 of them. And that's very important. But also dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and noradrenaline. And when we feel happy and well, those things are high. And if we smile or laugh, they get even higher. And other people smile when we smile, and that makes the whole thing better. So get your happy, healthy chemistry flowing several times every day. Get things in your life that make you happy. I've developed 7 tools to help people with their mental health. 1-minute videos, the Smile Fix It, smilefixit.com, mental health videos A-to-Z.com, the Mental Fix It app, live streaming for about an hour or an hour and a quarter on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday at about 7 o'clock. Powder medicines, pocket powder dispensers, and heartbeat meditation aids. But I've got another couple in mind, and one, I think it'll be called Phone Treasure. Get a lot of things on your phone that you just love. Family photos, baby photos, pet photos, sport photos, beautiful photos, humor, jokes, music, things that you love, so that at any time you can just whiz it out of your pocket and look at it or play it and feel better. I was born just before the Second World War and grew up at a time when everything was rationed and everything was grim. I still remember listening on radio. In those days the radios weren't very good, they were pretty scratchy. You had to be very close to them to hear, but I can still remember the Japanese declaration of defeat or whatever it was. And at that time we were all very serious. If what you didn't work, you got cold and hungry. So you had to make sure everything worked. But that's not really being serious, very serious, which we were, is not really the right way to go. I now know that it's very important to be happy. And we should organize our life to be happy. And that's what my whole project is about, helping people to be happy and healthy, because happiness and healthiness go together. You can just tell by, or as a doctor for 53 years, having 500,000 consultations, home, hospital visits, helping mothers, 800 mothers to have their babies, the pregnancy and then the care of the baby, a lot of tonsillectomies, appendectomies, vasectomies. I can look at someone's face and say they're probably going to live a long, happy, healthy life, or I think they're going to get sick and unwell and die young. That's how much happiness and health are connected, and unhappiness and unhealthiness are connected. Very important. So get your happy, healthy chemistry flowing several times a day. One of my videos is on morning, on the mornings, because all of us sometimes wake up in the morning not feeling that happy, not feeling that good, having had a bad dream or something, and you should get a little package of things to make the mornings good, because then the rest of the day will probably be good. If the morning's bad and you don't do anything about it, or you do the wrong things about it, like you start to smoke cigarettes and you eat bacon and eggs, or chocolate or something, that won't be so good. But for me, it's music. I just love The Voice Kids, and Britain's Got Talent, and America's Got Talent. And if I wake up not too good in the morning, I can completely change that in 5 or 10 minutes, almost even in a minute, with just one of my favourite singers from The Voice Kids or Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent. Particularly love the Romanian singers and there's some South African, Colombian singers, yeah. So music and photos of my children and grandchildren, and the birds that I feed on my front patio. The magpies come and warble if there's nothing there, and sort of call me out, and I take them out some rolled oats, and then a bit of exercise on my cross trainer, which exercises my legs, arms, the whole of my spine and my heart. That's the best exercise, a little cross trainer. When I looked into exercise machines, that's what I decided was best, the cross trainer. And there was two. There was an American one which was 7,000 something US dollars, and there was a Chinese one which was $149. So I bought the Chinese one, and it must be 10 years old now, and in 5 to 15 minutes I can get everything going. So develop a little list of morning things to do on the mornings which aren't so good. I want to talk a little bit about naltrexone. Naltrexone is a wonderful medicine. In about 1960, they discovered that we had opiate receptors on our cells, and that heroin lands on the opiate receptors and gets into the cells and has its effect. So an opiate receptor is like a little landing strip, a little airport landing strip, and heroin, addictive painkillers land on it and work through it. So they decided they'd try to make a medicine that landed on the opiate receptors and blocked the heroin out, and that would fix the heroin addiction. And in 1963 in Long Island they came up with naltrexone. And naltrexone is a wonderful opiate receptor blocker, just completely blocks heroin, addictive painkillers, and also alcohol. Except they got the dose horribly wrong. They messed around for a long time, but in 1984 the FDA approved 50 milligram tablets. And the first addiction clinic I worked in, starting in 1997, the treatment was 150 milligram naltrexone every day, but people wouldn't stay on it. They felt terrible on it, they'd stop it. They wouldn't take it for more than a few days. And one of the doctors working with, they just want to get back on heroin. But I could see that 50 milligrams of naltrexone was just too much. And Dr. Bernard Bahari, the addiction commissioner from New York, had 41 methadone clinics. Methadone is terrible stuff. And he was trying to find something better, and when the 50 milligram naltrexone tablets came, he gave it to some of his patients. They wouldn't stay on it, and he just thought, well, it's just too strong. So he tried 1 to 10 milligrams, and he found 3 milligrams of naltrexone was the best. 50 milligrams blocks your opiate receptors for 24 hours. 3 milligrams blocks it for 3 hours. And he discovered that the reason why people couldn't take the 50 milligrams is that we have opiate receptors because we produce opiates. We produce pain-killing chemicals which we call endorphins or endogenous morphines that help to suppress pain and distress. And if we didn't produce them, we'd be very miserable. And if you block them, you're very miserable. But what he found was that if you gave people 3 milligrams and it blocked their opiate receptors for 3 hours, their brain and gland cells that produce endorphins would try to overcome that block and produce a 250 to 300% increase in endorphins. And when the 3-hour block wore off, all those extra endorphins made people feel much better. And addicts just felt much better. But there was a problem. The problem was that the first dose of even 3 milligrams gave an addict a terrible problem called rapid detox. Really made them feel terrible. So they had to stop the heroin or the addictive painkiller for 3 days before they could take 3 milligrams of naltrexone. And almost nobody could do that. And about that time, they discovered that they had HIV in New York. They didn't know that before that. And a lot of people who were dying weren't dying of heroin, they were dying of HIV. So they got very worried about HIV and thought it was going to wipe out whole cities. And also they found that the boosting of the endorphins helped to stop a lot of diseases, including some cancers, because endorphins boost the immune system, which is cells and antibodies in every part of our body that fight infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases and cancers. And Dr. Bahari had quite a lot of success with treating cancer. So he sort of forgot about the old heroin problem and worked on HIV and the cancer problem, and then he died in 2010. But I thought, well, if 3 milligrams is better than 50 milligrams, perhaps we should try even less. And so I tried giving heroin addicts from 1/8 to 1.5 milligrams of naltrexone, and I found that a heroin or a painkiller addict could take 3/4 of a milligram, a microdose, 3/4 of a milligram, not 3 milligrams, not 50 milligrams, just 3/4 of a milligram, even when they had heroin or painkiller in them. As long as they started to crave, which meant that enough of their opiate receptors empty, they could tolerate 3/4 of a milligram, and it stopped their craving for an hour. And after an hour, their craving would come back again because more of the opiate receptors had got empty. More of the heroin or painkiller had burned up, and the left empty opiate receptors, which has caused the craving. So then we give them another 3/4 of a milligram. And every hour we give them another 3/4 of a milligram of naltrexone, and after about 8 or 10 hours they could take a double dose, 1.5 milligrams, and that would last for 2 or 3 hours. And if they took 1.5 milligrams every 2 or 3 hours for 24 hours, then they could take a triple dose, 3 lots of 3/4 of a milligram at once, and that would relieve them for 4 or 5 hours. And when they'd had no heroin for 72 hours, they could take 3 milligrams without any problems. So that's how we treated heroin addiction. So Dr. Bahari called 3 milligrams low-dose naltrexone, or LDN. And LDN is very important medicine. I take it every night, have for many years. And if you want to know about that, go online to the LDN Research Trust. The LDN Research Trust. Every year since 2014 they have a World LDN conference, and that's really valuable for people with chronic diseases. I don't have a chronic disease, I just don't want to get a chronic disease. And one of my grandmothers and one of my first cousins died of bowel cancer in their early 60s, so they probably got it in their late 50s. And another cousin died of pancreatic cancer at 68. One of my closest, dearest cousins, 3 months older than me. For the first 3 or 4 years of our life, we lived 20 metres apart on a remote farm. And sadly, he had a lot of stress, had a lot of family problems, got pancreatic cancer and died when he was 68. So I don't want to get cancer, so I take low-dose naltrexone. But anyway, research the LDN Research Trust. And I called the 3/4 of a milligram repeated over and over again RMN, repeated microdose naltrexone. So 50 milligrams is out, but RMN, repeated microdose naltrexone, is a great treatment for heroin and addictive painkillers. I've got one patient must have been 15 years ago, he came to me in a terrible state, unemployed, very unhappy, very unhealthy, taking 30 Panadeine tablets a day. 30 Panadeines. He was addicted to codeine. And we fixed him. He became a brickish labourer and worked really hard, has never been unemployed since, and is healthy and well with RMN and LDN. He also had an alcohol problem, so we give him a combination of baclofen and low-dose naltrexone. Yeah, naltrexone is something that everyone should know about, but you've got to get the dose right. RMN or LDN, not 50 milligrams. Well, maybe that's enough for tonight. I'm sorry I got started a bit late because I'm still having trouble with the mechanics of getting onto Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, so today's Friday. I'll be back again at about 7 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. Oh, and please send me questions and comments and criticisms. I love to hear from people, and after I do the live streaming, I always go through. There's lots and lots of new followers and lots of likes, diamonds or whatever they are, and likes and diamonds, and I like to communicate, but I'm not good at technology, so if you don't hear from me, it wasn't that I didn't want to contact you, it was I messed up the technology somehow.